Raipur, a city whose origins can be traced back as early as the 9th century. Seat of many old dynasties that ruled central India over many centuries. A city whose rich history can be traced in the ruins of these old forts. But today it's not only the history that sets Raipur apart, but also its rich reserves in natural mineral resources. Raipur today is the capital of Chhattisgarh, the only place in the country where tin ore is mined, and one of the richest mineral states in India, with reserves of coal, iron and bauxite, making it one of the biggest iron markets and home to hundreds of steel and alloy mills, big and small. But an introduction to Raipur is incomplete till we mention one of its biggest treasures, rice. Located in the central fertile plains of Chhattisgarh, traditionally known as the Rice Bowl of India, this region has recorded over 20,000 varieties of rice, a result of centuries of rice farming by indigenous communities. Even today, nearly 80% of Chhattisgarh's population still depends on agriculture for their livelihood, and it is rice that most of these farmers grow. So we decided to track how the rice grown here actually reaches our plates. What happens once this rice leaves these farms? The story and role of the rice mills here.
Chhattisgarh is called the Rice Bowl of India, and no visit to its capital is complete without a visit to one of its 1,500 rice mills.
Set up on the outskirts of Raipur, Shriram Agro mills nearly 4 tons of polished rice every day, and is owned by a man with very humble beginnings.
बैंक से अपना जो प्रोजेक्ट दिए वहाँ से कुछ पैसे बैंक से मिले, कुछ मार्केट से लिए, कुछ घर में थे, सब मिला के नया प्लांट डाल के बिजनेस चालू किया है.
Under a highly centralized process for rice milling, the government itself supplies paddy to most mills in Chhattisgarh. Once the rice reaches the mills from the plantations, it first goes through the process of dehusking, when husk and stones are separated from rice grains. It is then taken through a 2-stage polishing process before being graded. Once it is graded, the rice is packed and transported to state-owned warehouses.
यहाँ गवर्नमेंट खरीदी करती है पैडी, तो उसको हम उठा के मिलिंग करके गवर्नमेंट को चावल देते हैं. उसमें कई बार क्या है, प्रॉफिट भी होता है, कई बार नुकसान भी होता है. पॉलिसी के ऊपर डिपेंड रहता है. कई बार पॉलिसी जो है राइस मिल के नेगेटिव में भी रहता है, कभी पॉजिटिव में रहता है. किसान सबसे ज़्यादा डिपेंड पैडी में ही है, उनका पैदावार सबसे ज़्यादा पैडी होता है, और उस पैडी को परचेज करती है गवर्नमेंट. उसको हम जॉब वर्क के हिसाब से उसको उठा के लाते हैं, जॉब वर्किंग करके चावल देते हैं.
This monopoly of the government over supply and procurement means that pricing remains out of the rice millers' control. In fact, for the last 5 years, the rice millers in the state have been asking for an increase in the custom milling charges from 40 rupees per quintal to 70 rupees, citing rising operational expenses.
नहीं, हमारे मांगे हैं, जैसे हमको जो कस्टम मिलिंग चार्जेस मिलते हैं वो हम बढ़ाने के लिए बोले हैं गवर्नमेंट को, और हम हम धान पैडी मिलिंग करते हैं मैडम, तो वहाँ गवर्नमेंट 67% ईल्ड लेती है राइस की, तो हम उसको कम करने के लिए भी बोले हैं. कई मांगे हमारी है, कई शासन द्वारा माना गया है और कई पेंडिंग है, जो कि एसोसिएशन के द्वारा कम्युनिकेशन गैप है शासन के साथ. प्रॉब्लम तो मैडम सबसे पहले ये आते हैं कि जो माल फिनिश गुड जाता है, जाने के बाद जो एफसीआई में या नागरिक आपूर्ति निगम जो स्टेट द्वारा लिया जाता है सस्ता, वहाँ जाने के बाद जो वहाँ लॉट फेल कर लेते हैं, उसमें आता है तकलीफ बहुत.
Another huge concern for the millers is the state's improper storage management, which leads to damage to the paddy. The millers are then forced to use this paddy for producing finished rice.
गवर्नमेंट के द्वारा समिति से परचेज करके धान भंडारित होता है, तो ये जैसे समिति से तो फरवरी तक उठाया जाता है, उसके बाद भंडारण से उठाना पड़ता है हमको. तो बारिश के समय खासकर माल लाने करने में मतलब कई बार ऐसा होता है कि 2-2, 3-3 दिन गाड़ी लोड होकर वहीं खड़ी रहती है, आगे आ नहीं पाती. क्योंकि वो रोड का व्यवस्था सही नहीं रहता है। तो सरकार का यह भी दायित्व बनता है कि वो रोड कंक्रीटेशन सही रहे, तो आने जाने में, गाड़ियाँ आने जाने में तकलीफ ना हो। उसमें मिलर्स को भी इजीली है और प्लस गवर्नमेंट को भी इजी है।
But despite these concerns, Bajrang Agrawal has not lost his appetite for expansion. He hopes the government will address these concerns soon so he can go ahead with his plans to set up a boiled rice plant. With our hunger to learn about rice production duly sated, we moved out from Sri Ram Agro and deeper into Raipur. This time with the intention to quench our thirst and understand more about the milk industry here. Leading us to Amritmay Foods, a company set up only 3 years back by 3 young entrepreneurs.
We started Amritmay basically with a vision to provide pure and healthy and hygienic milk to the consumers. Like when we came back from the college to Raipur, we saw there was a need for hygienic milk. I mean, there was no player in the market who could supply milk in an organized and hygienic manner.
Tabelas cater to 80% of the milk market in Raipur, and the rest of the packaged milk market is dominated by national players like Amul and Mother Dairy. With the intention to target both these potential markets, Amritmay Foods set up 2 units located next to each other in the village of Aureti near Raipur. One unit to produce packaged milk, paneer, dahi, mawa and ghee, while the other a dairy farm to produce fresh cow and buffalo milk, which the company delivers to customers via ATMs, anytime milk machines.
Yes, in order to supply the milk to the consumers, we have started this concept of milk ATM, anytime milk concept. It's basically a milk vending machine wherein, I mean, customer can get the milk as they get the money from the ATM, they can get the milk from the ATM. So the milk they get is purely untouched through, I mean, from the entire process, right from the milking of the cow till the consumer drinks the milk. The milk has not been touched by anyone. It's 100% hygienic.
This business was started from the need to supply the freshest milk possible in the most hygienic way. But what these young entrepreneurs have ended up doing is developing a unique way of delivering milk to the masses.
But their journey till now has not been without setbacks.
If everything would have gone as per the speed of our calculations, I think we would have been 3 years ahead of our time. But right from project report till the time we could start this project, we faced a lot of challenges. To name a few, land diversion, the change of the land use was one of the issues. The registrations in all the statutory government organizations was another issue. The banking part was a very big headache for us. Like, project was rejected by one of the banks, I would not name it, for 3 main reasons. And
yes, we got a rejection letter from one of the banks which stated we couldn't process your loan due to the following reasons. The reasons being you are first generation entrepreneurs, you don't have sufficient experience to start up an industry. The land being very far from the city, 40 kilometers, it will be difficult to monitor. These were a few of the reasons, and we got rejected by 2-3 banks.
Yet the dreams of this young trio remain big as they plan to expand Amritmay Foods to a national scale and hope to raise funds by listing their company on the stock exchanges.
We first want to cover Chhattisgarh, then we are moving into other states. We are moving into Odisha, we are moving to MP and Maharashtra also. So step by step we will be covering these markets, first with our byproducts, then with packaged milk also.
definitely we are planning to list our company also, and we will be looking for major financing options to expand our operations, because without it, it is not going to be possible, and depending on banks is not what we want to do a lot.
On the other side of this break, we take you for a visit into one of the many steel mills in Raipur. Coal, iron ore, tin, bauxite, limestone or manganese. Name a natural mineral and chances are you will find it in the vast mines across Chhattisgarh. Little surprised then that Raipur is considered one of the richest cities in India and the biggest iron market. There are more than 200 steel rolling mills here. Nearly 200 sponge iron plants and more than 6 very large steel plants. One of these metal companies decided to open its gates to us to give us a peek into its fascinating industry. This is GR Sponge and Power, a sponge iron manufacturing unit in Siltara, the industrial district of Raipur. Owned by Ramesh Agrawal, this unit is part of a group which has steel rolling units and induction furnaces, making it a fully integrated steel manufacturing group with the capacity to produce finished products like steel bars, rods, sheets, strips and plates that are used in many industries.
Chhattisgarh was a power surplus and the government has given a special package for power intensive industries. So a lot of steel industry came into existence post 2000. So one by one I started setting up one rolling mill. Then I set up one induction furnace which gives you the raw material for your own and subsequently the story goes on. I continue with some of the other developments.
But luck soon ran out for the steel rolling mills in the state. The discount on power from the state was discontinued and availability of raw material along with escalating costs started posing major concerns, leaving units like this one fighting for survival by having to cut production to nearly half.
You see, this plant is around 14 years old and there has been a lot technological changes in between, and whatever the electricity, cheaper electricity we were getting, that is no more available. Still I can say Chhattisgarh power is cheapest in India. So the market is shifting towards the integration rather from the standalone units. So ours is a standalone unit which buys power from the state and buys raw material from the sponge iron industry and other scrap and all. And Chhattisgarh being a landlocked country, we are far from the port. So we are mostly dependent on the raw material which is manufactured in Chhattisgarh. So whatever cost of raw material is prevailing here in Chhattisgarh, you have to run your industry according to that.
Raipur has the largest number of steel rolling units in the country, but a large number of those are now shut as are furnaces such as these due to unavailability of their raw material, sponge iron.
So right now we are facing a huge problem of iron ore of availability at a reasonable price. Iron ore is available to us. NMDC is supplying us iron ore. Odisha-based private miners are supplying us iron ore. But the price they are charging is at least 10 times higher than what a steel plant with a captive mine is getting. Coal India Limited, when these industries were set up, were given 100% linkages. But down the line, since last 5-6 years, they have reduced the linkage quantity. Now a situation has come where some industries have zero linkage, some industries have got only 30% of their requirement as linkage, and the maximum linkage that is available to any industry is 75%, and that too with irregular supplies. So we are facing a lot of coal issues. Because of this, most of these, there are around 80 sponge iron plants which is there in this state, and out of that around 10 sponge iron plants of small and medium categories and some large categories also have been completely shut down. And this is only I am talking about sponge iron. There are more than 300 SME induction furnaces and rolling mill who are dependent on our supplies of sponge iron to them, because basically sponge iron is a substitute to scrap. Now scrap was being imported in this country. We came up with this technology where we replaced imported scrap and we supplied to the small sector induction furnaces. But now they are also facing the same problem of non-availability of sufficient quantity of sponge iron. And the basic issue is we are not being able to manufacture properly at a reasonable price so that we can supply them.
This crucial industry is now pinning its hope on the new government to fix issues related to raw material shortage and proper linkages. But until this government gets the ball rolling on reforms, companies need specialized advice to help them tackle such issues. And playing their part in this situation are services companies like Cosmic Vision Resources, a consultancy firm servicing industries like mining, real estate, human resources and even education.
In 2006, I have started my own consulting in mining. That was in the name of Vision Mining Consultants, then converted into private limited. At the same time, I went for that realty sector also. So in realty sector, what I did, I took a project for 200 plots, that approved project. I started marketing it, and I made it within 3 months. Again, that has given me the courage. Why not to start that realty marketing company? And again, started that Cosmic Infratech. That was the second venture.
Cosmic Vision Resources has nearly 100 consultants that help lay the groundwork for entrepreneurs looking to enter or expand in varied industries. The experience and insight that Varichar has gained from leading a company that interacts with so many diverse businesses made him the right man to take on the role of chairman of the newly formed SME Chamber of Chhattisgarh, where he looks forward to bringing to light the issues that SMEs in Chhattisgarh face, while also spreading awareness about government policies and funding options available to these enterprises.
There is a huge gap between government wanted to give and the SMEs that doesn't know actually what kind of support can be taken from the government. So that gap has to be filled through a certain organization or arranging some programs continuously, branding up the state, branding up that the industrial policies. I would suggest to the SMEs, they can go to the angel investors. There are angel investors, there are villages, some financial villages are there, some big corporates, they are creating now that platform, and they are looking for the SMEs who are doing good with their vision, and they are financing them. So SMEs can be taken finances from that angel investors, or that the financing villages are like that.
Over the last 2 weeks, our travel to the industrial towns of Jamshedpur and Raipur have shown us the vast potential of these small and medium enterprises across industries that are helping power our economy. But their biggest problem remains lack of funding, and this is stopping them from moving ahead. In our next episode, we explore the various equity funding options that these MSMEs can look at, including listing on SME exchanges like the Emerge platform of the National Stock Exchange.